Good evening and welcome to the first annual Women Power Connect brought to you by UKZN's College of Law and Management Studies. I am Timberletu and I'll be your host for tonight. In light of Women's Month, the aim for tonight is not only to celebrate Women's Month, but moreover, it is to celebrate the success stories of women who come from the College of Law and Management Studies at UKZN. We hope that you're inspired by their journeys, as well as engage with them when they tell us their stories. Please do send through your questions in the comments, both on Facebook and in the chat section. If you join us on Zoom, please do send them through as well, as we have a Q&A segment scheduled for later on in the session. In the interest of time, let's get straight to it. Let us meet our top tier panel that will be joining us tonight. Firstly, I am also a graduate from the College of Law and Management Studies, businesswoman, as well as a public speaker, and I'll be hosting this panel for tonight. We are joined by Mrs. Yanelisa Jogweni Gwala, who is the founder and director of Sakiwe QY Construction. We're also joined by Tsegofatso Molefe, who is also the founder of Rising Girls Foundation. But last but not least, we're joined by Ms. Ntandokazi Buthelezi, who's also a digital solution strategist at Asante Tech Solutions. Unfortunately, Ms. Nemtemo could not join us today due to family issues, but we know that she's here with us in spirit. So let's get straight to it. Ladies, welcome and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Thank you. Awesome. Very excited to be part of this panel, very excited to be given the opportunity. And it's great to actually celebrate women. Thank you. Thank you for having us, Timberlake.
We're super excited to have you too. Thank you for that, Ntando, guys. Let's hand over the floor to you. Please do introduce yourself in 2 minutes or less. Let's start with you, Ntando, guys.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ntandokazi Buthelezi. So great to be a part of this panel, and it's so great that everyone out there is listening. Firstly, I am a product of about 3 things now so far. I'm a product of the Inaccess UKZN chapter, Asante Tech Solutions, and Women in Tech. But currently, I am more involved in growing the business at Asante Solutions as a digital solution strategist. I'm responsible for seeing trends before they peak, giving our clients the best brand they possibly can have, making them unique from any other brand, and also helping them identify how they can fit themselves into the market. Together with that, I am a youth ambassador for Women in Tech, bridging the gap of technology between women, and I assist women see and identify opportunities for themselves in the technology space. That's me in a nutshell. But also right now, I'm currently studying my double major in information systems. It's my final year. So technology is quite the top tier part of myself and my journey, but also having other interests, other business interests. But most importantly for me, it's just to bring together women, show them that they have ample amounts of opportunities, they can do anything, they have greater capabilities, and even in those sectors which are highly male dominated. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Ntando, guys. Speaking of highly male-dominated areas, let's go to Yane, who is also a part of construction. And Elisa, please do introduce yourself. I think we've lost connection with Mrs. Gwala, so let's go straight to, oh, there she is. Awesome. Mrs. Gwala, how are you?
I'm okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, so as introduced, my name is Yanelisa Jogweni Gwala. I am the founder and the managing director of Sakiwe QY Construction. Entrepreneurship is my second name. I have seen it, I've lived it, I've loved it, and I've grew through it, and now I am it. So basically, it's the finding solutions for social problems while impacting a large number of people through business strategies and solutions for me, which is exactly what I'm doing. Currently, I am the product of Enactus UKZN, which is an amazing organization that has groomed who I am. I have learned a lot, and hence now I'm implementing all those things in my business. And I believe that a degree in law and management college has really equipped me with a lot of business technicalities and a lot of things that I've learned in the degree. I am the current student of law and management. I'm currently registered for a postgraduate diploma in finance, banking, and investment. Yeah, and I am running Isakiwe Sihle in and out. I'm doing all sort of roles, project management, on-site, hands-on, building those houses. Yeah, basically that's me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zugwala. Over to you, Tshegofatso.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tshegofatso Molefe. I am 26 years old, born and bred in Kestel in the Free State, but I'm currently residing in Pietermaritzburg. Such an honor to be here. It is always such a privilege to be amongst women from all walks of life. There's always so much that we can learn from one another, so much that we can teach one another. I am an LLB graduate from UKZN, Pietermaritzburg campus, and I absolutely love what I do. I wear my heart on my sleeves when it comes to the Office of Justice and the people who seek refuge from it, particularly women and children. I believe that justice must not just be done, it must be seen to be done in our society. And I'm also a founder of the Rising Girls Generation, which focuses mainly on child-headed homes and the development of women. That is who I am.
Thank you so much for those lovely intros. Indeed, we're honored to have you tonight, and I can't wait to unpack these conversations that we're about to have tonight. So let's ease into it. Just a general question, Let's start with you, Tshego, actually. What is the importance of being a driven and focused student? When you're in matric, you have this dream of wanting to go into university. And then when you get there, there's so much pressure, the social life of university, the pressures that come with just being a young adult. What is the importance of then, in the midst of it all, being a driven and focused student so as to lead you then to the end of your journey?
Do you mean during my studies at the university or as a matriculant?
Yes, during your studies at UKZN.
Okay. For me, I would definitely say finding your purpose and owning your narrative. It is very easy to lose focus, and because there's so many chairs that are available at the table that are very empty. So you need to know what you're there for. You need to know your calling. It was very important for me not only to just know that I'm here to study law, but after that, what do I want to do? Because law is such a broad field. There's so much that you can do in it. So it was important for me to stand still at this is what I want to do, even after I've finished studying. And of course, just studying hard and being committed to what you came there to do in the first place.
Thank you so much for that. Nthandakazi, what do you have to say? What is the importance of being driven and focused?
That is a very powerful question. Speaking on my side, I wasn't quite deep into a lot of things and a lot of activities that happen on campus for students. But I was very much curious and intrigued on what goes on in the real world. What can I venture in? And being driven gives you that kind of courage. I came in as a student. UKZN directed me, gave me direction, good direction, because I was quite lost. I had a lot of ambitions, accounting, being a doctor while I was still in matric. But then pointing me into the direction of being in the Bachelor of Commerce and tapping into what I already know it was only UKZN that put me through that. Hence why then I did information systems and technology. And that course showed me how to be even more driven, but on the side of business and the side of entrepreneurship, filtering in Enactus. Enactus gives you the stretch of being driven, of going the extra mile, helping people within communities so that you can practice that part of the business acumen, you know. You can get to lead, be part of leadership, and leadership teaches you ways in which you can become a part of a business and own one, and, you know, strive for pushing for one. And it taught me to be even more driven. And it was only because I went the extra mile, I took the courage, took the next step, didn't sit down and say, you know what, I'm a student. The only thing I need to do is open a book and study and go to the sports center and write an exam. In that midst of being driven, which is very important, then I got to have a network. And that network was only brought about being into UKZN. The network that I had got me into business. Now I can grow my own business. I can study. I can help communities. And I can tap into a bigger entrepreneurial side of myself. And you can do it as a woman. Women are genuinely rooted for being those people that can multitask in life. So for that, being driven is very important, because then you can see the capabilities and the amount of things that you can do as a person, and you'd end up testing the waters as much as you can, then finding your why and finding your purpose as to what you need to live for in this world and what you need to do, what you need to achieve. So being driven is that important. It gives you connections and doors to open for you to live your standards and live up to your full potential.
No, thank you so much, Thandagazi. So, Yanelisa, would you agree with what Thandagazi said, that being driven is that important? It's the thing, you know, that leads you to your success. Would you agree?
Definitely, I would agree, without repeating what Ntandokazi has already said. But I really think being driven gives you that opportunity to keep seeking for opportunities that will actually make you grow in different areas. Being driven makes you understand that you are in a mission of identifying your purpose. So if you are not driven, you are not going to identify your purpose. A part of identifying your purpose when you are in university is actually being interested in different organizations. I really believe when you are part of different organizations that will teach you different things, you are really growing in those aspects. By the time you finish or you complete your degree, you go to the workspace, you already have some sort of experience in different sectors that you have involved yourself in. For me, being part of Enactus UKZN really transformed my thinking. It really transformed my being. I believe, Wuti, when I first got a UKZN, I wanted to be an accountant. But throughout my journey, as I was part of Enactus, changing lives day in, day out, I had to revisit my dreams. And you can't do that if you are not driven. You revisit your dreams, you re-strategize, and you pinpoint new things, fresh things that will excite you to going forward.
That is so true. You know, linking back to what Ntandagazi had said about to UKZN being what found her and helped her shape her way. So going back to you, Ntandagazi, what would you say is the thing that makes you say UKZN was an enabler in you shaping your journey towards success?
Firstly, I'd greatly thank the staff of UKZN. You know, when you were a matriculant and you're lost and you're trying to find your way into the institution, especially because there are requirements, they didn't let me down. They didn't turn me down instantly. They showed me that there is a opportunity even though I don't meet these necessary requirements, but I can bridge to get to where I want to be. So it exercised my mindset. And as Liane said, I saw other things while I was trying to get into the institution. For me, I didn't know that you can do commerce, but at the same time, mix it with technology. It wasn't something that was in my mind. And at that point, computers were just computers for me. It wasn't that deep. So UKZN shaped me into giving me the right information to pursue my career as it stands right now. And honestly, having the community of students at UKZN are UKZN, and they're the only people who can shape you into becoming what you are. You just need to get into the right situations, be with the right people at the right time, and then you can gradually find your way. So really, UKZN shaped me very much. Gave me opportunities. It was just up to me to dive into them, because sometimes we tend to not give ourselves the benefit of the doubt and think that we can't do things and we won't be able to achieve things. The only way you can be shaped into something is if you also give into it. You need to meet it halfway. So also being at that level of meeting the institution halfway into what they are trying to expose me to, gave a way into the institution shaping me as a person that I am today.
Definitely. Tsegofatso, thinking back to what you said earlier, you mentioned that you are, doing a bit of both. You're doing both the legal career as well as business. How would you say that UKZN then enabled you to be the person that you are successfully in both those ventures?
I always say that UKZN changed the trajectory of my life, because remember, I'm just a small town girl coming to this big city. And I remember in matric, my mother saying, "Don't you want to go to the University of the Free State?" But I knew that if I went there, not that UFS is not a good university, but I knew that going there I would be easily accessible to my parents, to my uncles, to my aunts. Everyone would just pop in now and then. And I knew that coming to KZN it would be necessary for me to learn a new language, to learn how other people behave, learn a different culture. And I remember the first week being at the university, and I'm just sitting in front of a computer and it's full. I think it was the science lab, and I don't know how to switch it on. And this guy is standing behind me and he's like, "Are you going to use the computer?" And I'm just like, "Just give me a minute." Just give me a minute.
Please.
So, yes. And, as Untandokazi said, I wasn't well informed about the choices. So I remember the first thing that I applied for was PPL, Politics, Philosophy and Law. And I was later informed that, no, you can actually change to LLB if you actually get, I think they said a percentage of 70%, of which I managed to get in my first year. In my second year, I then got awarded the Golden Key Award. And from there on, I think I really got my confidence on that, there's no limit to what I can do. There's nothing that if I put my mind on something, I can do it. And the thing that I always say is that when you are raised in a small town, you are taught to use every resource that's at hand. So when you get to the big city, you're no longer playing, because there's just so much, and you want to dive in everything. And so that's also where my organization was born, because I met so many different women. And I always say that it's important to not just have your peers as your friends. Also have women who are a bit older than you, but not far away, out of reach, but just a bit older than you, who have walked the path, so that you can always go there for mentorship, go there for for more knowledge. Sometimes it's I think it's better to learn from experience of other people, the experiences of other people, than your own mistakes. And I think I wouldn't just pin it to UKZN, but to KZN as a whole, the people, the institution itself. I think I am because I am who I am because of them.
Yo, thank you so much. I think it speaks to just getting out of your comfort zone. Once you're out of your comfort zone, it helps you to then, push yourself even further. So speaking of which, both Ntandokazi, both Ntandokazi and Uyanelisa are in what we call male-dominated industries. So we get Uyanelisa in construction, we get Ntandokazi in IT. Ladies, how have you forged your own path? How have you stood firm and rigid? Because I'm sure, well, equality says to us, both men and women can do the same job, right? But equity then shows us that, we're not treated the same way. Sometimes men get more respect, sometimes they get paid more. How do you then forge your way as a specialist, not outside of your gender, how do you forge your way into still leading a successful business, no matter the gender gap that exists? Yane, let's start with you.
So funny, because I always get this question, but I really think the confidence that was instilled in me in the institution, like being a UKZN student, is really not an easy journey. And I really appreciate that, because it has grown a very thick skin in me. So that thick skin is something that has really grown boldness inside me. Being in UKZN has proven so many times that the sky is not the limit. It has proven to me so many times that no matter how many times you fall, how many times you fail, but you can still reach those stars. So for me, being in a male-dominated industry is actually not a problem, because I am bold, I am strong, I have fallen so many times. I'm not sure how many times I've failed modules at UKZN, did them again and passed them. I'm not sure how many times I had tackled different challenges in the organizations that I've involved myself in the institution, but still succeeded. I'm not sure how many times I have been tested and challenged in life circumstances. So being in a male-dominated industry for me has never been a problem, because I believe I'm stronger than anything. And being driven and knowing what you want in life makes it very easy for you to pursue what you want, no matter what the challenges, or what gender are you, or what environment are you involved in. If you know what you want and you know exactly where you are going, then nothing in the road or in the journey that you are walking past will ever distract you.
Oh, definitely. Ntandokazi, would you agree that thick skin really is, the recipe to it all, or is there more to it?
Yes, I agree, definitely. On my part, firstly, I was raised by very powerful women, of which one of them I spent a lot of time with in my childhood, my grandmother, and she was a principal. She was in leadership. Very hard for her. Like every day there was a new story to how she's being treated in the industry of education as a leader, as a woman. But she always had thick skin. Like she never fell down from the challenge till the day she became old enough to retire. So along my journey growing up in my childhood, she'd always tell me that you can do anything. Listen, I sat at a desk and I just went back to the desk just because I wanted to be a principal, and nothing put me down. I just knew that it is time for me to stand up in my household, become a woman that works, and I can do it all. So she grew that tough skin, as much as in their generation, in their time, in the traditional ways, the woman was supposed to be cooking and doing, household stuff. But she gave herself that opportunity. She grew thick skin and she pursued it. So part of my thick skin comes from there. And also just trying to not be a person that is always leaning towards thinking that failure is possible, and trying to be a perfectionist at all times. It's also been a privilege for me that I've been groomed by men only. My grandfather was a businessman, and I'd learned from him a lot in the business world, growing up with him. Even in the workspace, I'm always groomed by men. And fortunately, they've never given me that, that stigma that is always there, where women cannot do it. Women are too weak. A woman cannot, go further and take the next step, take the next leap. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to be comfortable in the situation, but never do I stop working. I work 10 times harder because I still do believe I need to prove myself every single day, as much as no one is torturing me to do so. It's just a way to keep myself leveled in life, knowing that I can achieve more. I'm never, slacking and saying, hey, I've done everything, I'm done, I've achieved everything. Every achievement that comes through, it still feels like now it's below what I'm supposed to be having or what I'm supposed to be achieving. So I just look forward to the next step and look forward to achieving more. It's never enough. And I hope that we do have a lot of matriculants watching this, because I just want to emphasize on the point that it's never enough. You're never done. You always have to be doing something. You always have to be looking for the next opportunity. You always have to stretch yourself, even if it's not because of the workspace and what people view you as a female being in a male dominated world. But you need to just go the extra mile, no matter what the society says. Do it for yourself and do it for your goals. Smash those goals as much as you can. The world has so many opportunities, honestly speaking, and they never stop. They never stop. So continuing in this journey of the male-dominated world, I just never stop learning, and I never stop trying to achieve something, even if it means I'm doing it better than the man. But it's only for my benefit and my way of saying I've reached my target, and I can become something better in this world, and I can create a better world for us all.
Oh, thank you for that, Daniela. You said do it for yourself, and I completely agree with you. But do we also think that maybe there's also, unity in rather power in unity of women? And that leads me to you, Tshegofatso, because you've got a foundation that, empowers women. Would you say that there is power in unity, or what would you say in regards to that?
Definitely. I definitely believe that there's power in unity. And I say that because I am a product of unity. In my language, meaning that you're raised by your community. And for me, it's important that when I rise up, I take other women along with me. So it was very imperative for me to start this foundation, and not only for girls. Yes, it's called the Rising Girls Foundation, but also to include the boy child, because now, although there's an inequality, there was previously an inequality on women. if we now continue only uprising the young girls and leaving the boys behind, we are going to have that inequality again. So we are going to be a society that keeps on rectifying instead of starting from the ground and lifting them both up.
Most definitely. Thank you so much for that. So it leads me to another question. You know, you guys are very much in line with your passions, and apart from being, you know, products of the College of Law and Management in terms of your professions, but you're all very in line with your passions in business and just pursuing your purpose. So it leads me to this question: what is your why? Why do you do this? Why do you get up every morning and, you know, just start? Yanele, let me start with you.
Okay, amazing. I think my why is very huge. My why is actually to make it beyond anyone else that has made it in my family. I was raised by a single mother, and it's so unfortunate that she passed before seeing what she had pushed so much for. So my mother has always pushed so much to ensure that I reach the stars. So basically, my why is to ensure that I make her proud wherever she is. And also beyond that, my why is greater because I want to ensure that I build generational wealth. I want to ensure that no one ever in my bloodline will suffer like I have suffered in life. I went through a lot of challenges that I will not mention in this platform, but I feel that it was important for me to go through those challenges because now my why is I don't want anyone in my bloodline to ever go through what I went through. So I am building generational wealth. I am creating a legacy. I am making sure that my children and their children and their children and their children will live the life that I have always dreamed of, the life of having to start in a certain step, because I believe I have started in a negative where you have to try and push so you can pull your siblings and pull your family members. I don't want my children to start there. I am basically working so hard so that my children will live for themselves and will live to grow the legacy and will live to achieve their dreams. I want to ensure that my children and everyone else that is in my bloodline actually has it easier than I ever did. So yeah, my why is transforming the next generation. My why is ensuring that we are they say be the change that you want to see. So my why is to be the change to see. I want to see change, so I will be that change. My why is to ensure that women are no longer just kitchen girls and whatsoever, but they are powerful people of the society. My why is to prove that entrepreneurship can transform a lot of things. My why is to prove that education has a lot to do with entrepreneurship, because a lot of people believe that being a business person doesn't require education, but I have seen it and I have believed it, that being educated in the business space is actually puts you 10 times ahead of people who just started business without any education background. Not that they won't make it, but if you are educated, it becomes much more easier for you. So yeah, that's my why.
Legacy and generational wealth. That is a very important why. Tshegofatso, would you say the same, or is there more to your why than generational wealth and legacy? What would you say?
Definitely. I think that is also on my cards. But to just be specific, my why is my truth. And I say this because I believe in the power of storytelling. You know, people just look at us on social media and see Tshegofatso, the LB graduate, Miss South Africa top 30, you know. They don't understand that we've had failures as well, that you can prepare so much, you can have the necessary skill and still be rejected, and that you need to get up again and work. No one is above rejection. People need to know that. No one is above rejection, irrespective of how prepared you are and how well informed you may be, and that no one has it easy. And for me, I always say that it makes me so happy to see my siblings not going through what I went through in terms of mistakes, learning from my experiences. And that is the power of storytelling, is that you tell people your truth, all of it, flaws and all, so that they don't get to repeat exactly what you did.
Yeah, that is powerful. Dandogazi, what is your why?
My first why is my mother. You know, the winning Bugaje. I'm the spitting image. So
You are.
why I do what I do, why I love waking up every morning is solely because of her, because my reflection is her work and what she's pursued and what she's tried to build. And I want people to see me exactly as her, exactly as what she's achieved as well. But going on to my second why, my why actually doesn't let me sleep, and I enjoy it so much. I wake up every morning and yet I don't sleep as well. And I enjoy it very much because it keeps me going, gives me the adrenaline. It gives me the opportunity to work and experience more opportunities, and it shapes me into learning more things that I never knew I would be able to do, something that only other people would do. My why is also my family. My family needs to have a legacy built for themselves as well. Yane touched on it. Legacy and wealth is very important. And some of us don't understand it. Some of us take it as a, you know, a thing that is there for, you know, looking good, but it's just more to the side of helping your family become groomed in the sense of how you have been groomed or how you've groomed yourself. Let everyone know how to work. Let everyone wake up every morning, know they're waking up every morning. And I think it's a very important segment to anyone's life, is to have generational wealth and build a exceptional legacy, but also just to be able to teach your child and make your child become exactly as you are, so that they can have their generation as well lead on to what you have achieved and what you have created. Why do I do it as well? Again, for myself, as I've said, I do it for myself mostly because I'm continuously trying to prove myself wrong. Sometimes I have the assumption of I cannot do it. So I try to prove myself wrong, saying that I can do it. So hence why I do it every time. It's a special opportunity. It's a special moment to be living in. And these whys keep me going all the time, because I've been in a situation where I've gotten rejected. I've had people project a lot of their fears onto me. So that's why I do this every day, just to also tell them that their fears don't have anything on me. They are just yours. So keep them on your side. But what you are saying right now, I will achieve it and I will be able to do. So I continuously wake up and revisit all of those things in order for me to achieve everything well and achieve my purpose and achieve my whys. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Danagazi. You touched on rejection, you know, so in as much as we're products of one of the biggest universities in Africa, really, we're still prone to challenges, you know, challenges such as rejection, such as, you know, not getting to that next step that you know you ought to get to. You know, what have you learned from UKZN that has taught you to rise from that? You know, what is that thing that you can say, in as much as I've gone through the most really in my journey towards entrepreneurship or in my career, but I have learned this specific thing from UKZN in the College of Law and Management that has helped me to overcome that challenge. Tseho, let's start with you.
It will definitely have to be resilience. you need to be resilient. You need to keep going, even when the door is shut in front of you. You need to go knock onto the next door. And even after I completed my degree, I always speak that I studied law. I studied my LLB because I wanted to be a public prosecutor and nothing else. And this is always met with such frown because everyone is expecting me to be an attorney. And that's not what I want, irrespective of how honorable the field may be. I studied law because I wanted to be a public prosecutor. And I remember completing my degree and being informed that the aspirant program for the PP has now been closed. And at that point, there was no way that I could get into the public prosecution. And so I was told that the nearest or the fastest way to get in was to apply to work at Legal Aid as a legal practitioner, a candidate legal practitioner there. And I always tell people that I learned UKZN equipped me with resilience and diligence because I was able to be diligent even in a space I did not want to be in. I kept my eyes on the ball and I was diligent at that moment because I knew why I was there and I knew the result of me completing that 2 years at Legal Aid South Africa.
Wow, resilience. Yanelisa, would you say the same, or is there something else that you have learned at UKZN that has led you to where you are today in spite of challenges?
Okay. So definitely resilience. I really agree with Tseho. And also I have learned the spirit of not giving up no matter how hard it is. Basically, me being at UKZN has really taught me never to give up. As I had said, my academic journey was not as smooth as everyone else's. So I failed so many times. There are some modules where I had to repeat twice and some 3 times.
I think we might have lost Yanelisa there a bit. We'll get back to her, no problem. Danogazi, what would you say is the one thing that you've learned in spite of challenges from UKZN?
I agree with everyone. Resilience is very important. I think it's one of the strongest suits that I have. Also, believing in yourself continuously after failing. It's quite a hard one, but it's very important because now you struck with a challenge and it puts you down at all times. I mean, I've been put down by a lot of things, and just being resilient and believing in yourself one more time, just to divert from what you've lost and what you've failed at, and trying to look for something that you can pursue and, become powerful at. It helps you a lot. Then you get to instill that mindset where you no longer are thinking about the failures, but you've got more successes and you've driven yourself to the point of it doesn't exist. I've never been through that anymore or in any way. And I'm looking forward to what I've achieved now. And I think most importantly, having faith, connecting with the right people to bring you to that phase of forgetting what has happened in the past and focus on what will happen for the future. I mean, I haven't had an easy journey as well. It has been hard. It has been challenging every single day. Every single day is a challenge, actually. It could even be waking up. That's a challenge as well. But we still conquer it, and you can only conquer it by believing in yourself every day to just strive for the rest of it and strive for the future.
All right, Yanelisa, would you like to continue? We lost you there for a bit.
Yes, yeah, definitely. As I was saying, that I think one of the biggest things I have learned in UKZN is the spirit of not giving up and the ability to understand that failing is not just failure, but it's learning and rising up again. And I have also learned the ability to identify opportunities. That is one of my biggest strengths that I learned at UKZN. Ability to identify opportunities and the ability to transform challenges into solutions. That's one of also the greatest skills that I acquired at UKZN. I am now able to transform any challenge into a solution, and hence I have geared with that strength. I'm always making sure that whatever I go through, I always find a solution for it, and I transform that solution to something positive in life. So those are one of the greatest principles that I have learned at UKZN, that I think anyone who aspires to go to the institution should look forward to learning those things, because I think in life in general and in particular requires a person who's able to identify different opportunities, because as Ntandokazi did say, that there are a lot of opportunities for everyone in this world, not only for women, but for everyone in this world. But if you don't have the skill, that particular skill of identifying the opportunity, then you're definitely not going to recognize or realize that there are opportunities out there waiting for people to snatch them.
Most definitely. I like that all of you speak about, just basically not giving up, turning your no into a not yet, just pushing and understanding that your why is what gets you to your final destination. So to anyone who's watching this, maybe a person in matric or just a person who just needs inspiration, what would you say to them, or what advice would you give them as an aspirant, maybe, student at UKZN, or ultimately a person who wants to get into business through education that they've received at UKZN? What advice would you give to someone who's watching this right now? Tseho, I'll start with you.
Well, definitely the advice that I would have wanted to receive when I was 18 years old. And it would definitely be, do not make your decisions based on fear. Make your decisions based on possibility and hope. In 2021, honestly, there is no longer space for Sizobona Pambili. There is no longer space for that. We as the youth need to own our narrative, and find our purpose. And secondly, I'm just going to repeat that no one is above failure. You are going to fail. Your applications are not going to be considered in other universities. So make sure that you apply at as many universities as you can. At this stage, I honestly would love to see nothing more than to see the youth of Africa's development and growth, and just them owning their narrative and finding their purpose. And I always say that it is imperative for us to let the world know that we are the ones that we've been waiting for.
Oh, most definitely. That's a very powerful statement. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Ntandokazi, would you say the same thing to someone who's watching, or what more would you like to add to that? What advice would you give someone who wants to get into UKZN?
Firstly, apply now. Do not miss out on the opportunity. We tend to keep things and procrastinate the process of actually getting to our next step and achieving more successes. So do not delay on that. Secondly, be open-minded when you get into the institution. Education is not just in a textbook full of words, it's everywhere in the institution. Another thing would be, just as Uteko said, failure is there. Just accept it, embrace it, and turn over a new leaf for yourself. There's a lot of opportunities that can come about for you, and it's never ending. Do not be intimidated by your progress. it doesn't take a very short time to get to your successes. If you do, that is good for you, but sometimes it takes longer for others. But we are not all destined for the same path, so we cannot compare ourselves. Do not compare yourself. Do not put yourself in a situation where you want to be like your friend. It's not going to happen. And we realize that very late in life when we all grown up, and we realize that we're not even looking to be in the same sectors, and we don't have the same minds. We don't speak in the same way anymore. We don't speak in the same language. It's never going to be the same after 5 years or 3 years or 4 years. It depends. So keep your head up, stay grounded, focus on getting yourself to the next destination, and continue to improve on your confidence, continue to improve on believing, and continue to improve on networking with people. Put yourself out there, be vulnerable. The institution has a lot to offer for you. Yeah.
Thank you, Nthandakazi. Yanelisa, would you also say that your net worth is your network, is your net worth, especially as someone who has been, involved in many organizations at UKZN? Would you advise someone then who's watching this and wants to get into UKZN to actually join the many other organizations that are a part of the College of Law and Management Studies?
Yes, definitely. You got it right when you said your network is your net worth. It's very important to associate yourself with people that are in the same journey that you want to partake. It's very important to associate yourself with organizations that will take you right straight to your destiny. I think, I would really advise anyone who decides to choose the University of KwaZulu-Natal that please do associate yourself with the right organizations. I think the only way to do that is to firstly know who you are. When you know who you are and you know what you want, then it will definitely be easy for you to choose the right organizations that speaks to what you are, that speaks to who you are, where you want to go, and what exactly you want to learn. Because I think all the organizations within the institution and in the College of Law and Management are there to teach you something. So for every organization, there's definitely something that you're going to learn there. And if you know what you want and where you are going, then it will be easy for you to choose the right organization that will teach you the relevant skills that you want, that are relevant to you.
Most definitely. Speaking to what you said earlier, Yanelisa, you spoke about how you in your academic journey had a lot of failures, and you own up to them and you are aware of them and you embrace them for what they are. But you also mentioned that business as well, coupled with education, is something that is basically a guarantee for success. Do you think that someone who is probably struggling academically still stands a chance to, succeed by joining the UKZN family?
Definitely. Well, there are many different reasons for academic struggles. Some people struggle academically because they're going through family issues. Some people struggle academically because they're in the wrong path. There are so many different reasons. So definitely being in UKZN has really taught me that struggling academically doesn't really mean you are dumb or anything, but basically there's something that you really need to find. For me, the main reasons were just that it was just going through family problems, and also being in the wrong path. Because when I joined UKZN, I was studying BCom accounting, and I really believe that was the wrong path for me. It really doesn't speak to who I am. So what really assisted me in order for me to be able to even finish my degree was to sit down and learn who I am myself. And then that is exactly how I was able to identify what I really need to study. So I think one of the biggest choices and one of the biggest things that you need to do before you even apply to UKZN is to able to identify what you want in life and who you are, because those things are really related. So when you go to the institution, you choose the right course, because being in the wrong course really causes problems for you.
Definitely. Thank you so much for that. And Ntandokazi, would you also agree that education coupled with passion are a recipe for success?
Definitely. I mean, we still do need the accreditation, you know, it still stands there as something that people look at. Well, we can't change what society thinks of us. And, you know, obviously having a degree is you know, is an important part of life, especially if it's in one of the greatest institutions like UKZN, you know. Even working as an entrepreneur, people do look at your profile as well. And it's important for them to see you as a product of something. It's not education that you got from yourself, but it's education given to us by our own province, you know. So education is definitely a great part of success. With my sector, I learn a lot from the institution. I learn a lot in my information systems and technology course that brings a lot of effort into business and how I can utilize those skills for business. So education is definitely part of its success, but also coupling it with, you know, practical things that you can do in life. It's very important. You don't see the side of education until you make it practical. So you need to try by all means to get to the step or get to the point where you can explore other things that can get you to the practical sense for you to understand what you are learning about. Yeah.
Most definitely. Tahofa, so earlier you'd mentioned that, you know, just being a part of the UKZN committee has just shaped you, you know, as a person. So would you say that, you know, going out of your comfort zone, you did say you come from a small town and now you're all of a sudden in one of the biggest universities in the continent. Would you say that that experience coupled with education are also, you know, a recipe towards your successes thus far?
Yes, it definitely is. And I just remembered when I in my third year, I was just encouraged by other students to run for being an executive in the Black Lawyers Association. I mean, the association had just been started from the ground, and I was just a member then. But you know, I was comfortable with just being a member, you know, contributing to the end product, but not being the face. And the thing is, people think when you're a model, you truly love attention, but honestly, we don't, not all of us. So I was very comfortable with being doing the groundwork and, you know, and not being the face. But in fourth year, I just took a leap of faith and, you know, I ran for the position. And I remember the position being a treasurer was just being occupied by males. And, you know, I was like, oh man, you know, let me just run for it. And I remember being appointed as the first female treasurer of the Black Lawyer Association. And there, I learned so many things that, you know, officers are not there for us to occupy them. They're there for us to serve, you know, to serve the people, to serve the mandate of what we are there for. So that experience, coupled with education, coupled with the great women that I learned who impacted and who also contributed to my success financially and emotionally, and also my faith. You know, it was very important for me to be rooted, you know, in my faith as a Christian. And I think that is, you know, that is what made me to be who I am and still am.
Yo, ladies, today has honestly been such a, you know, I've had, you guys are such a diverse panel of people. So we've had a bit of both. We've had the construction, we've had IT, we've had, you know, foundations. And it's been interesting to see how in as much as, we're all women, we're still very much diverse in how united we are. And that's something that's very beautiful to see. Last question. What would you say is, in one word, right? In one word, what is the one trait or characteristic you would say you can't succeed without? One word, okay? Dandagazi, let's start with you.
Bold.
Bold.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, being bold. Yane, what would you say?
Strength.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tejo, closing it off, what would you say is the one word that guarantees success?
Diligence.
So we said bold, we said strength, and we said diligence. And that indeed is a recipe for success, because we see that through you ladies. You ladies are really just blazing the trail, and we're so inspired and actually very honored to have had you in our very first edition of UKZN's College of Law and Management Women Power Connect. Continue doing what you do, continue being pioneers in your fields, continue inspiring us, and just blazing a trail in your respective fields. You are power, and thank you for being with us today. But before we leave, we'd like to thank every single person who's joined us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you and be your host for tonight. However, please ensure that if you are interested in applying at UKZN, please apply now. Tandogasi said, do it now. I couldn't agree more. Do it now. The CAOs are open. Apply now and be a part of our UKZN family. And who knows, one day maybe you'll be here sharing a success story with us as to how UKZN has molded and shaped your story. Thank you for being with us. Above and beyond, thank you to UKZN College of Law and Management Studies for being an enabler, and granting us a platform of this magnitude. We hope to see you again next year, same time, same place. And from us, the panelists, UKZN CLMS, and myself, it's good night and God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, ladies. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, ladies.